My name is Gregory Hamilton, and this is The Highway to Heaven in 88 Steps. Today is day 17. We're doing a lot of progress and we're doing a lot of work. And yesterday we were talking about how we're grateful for what we're doing. And that's exactly the biggest thing about having the intentions and being grateful to even ask the question, what is it that I want to do with my God-given life, my God-given talent, to bring me happiness and joy in my life the way God wants me to be? So when you're grateful, those type of things become more obvious and more aware and more in your face. And you understand that that's what bring in happiness and joy. Now, the hard work is something that will always happen, right? Because if we're trying to define happiness, bliss, and joy, let's talk about that for a second. What is that? Just, again, is that just a bigger couch, TV, big gulp? Okay, right. The happiness and joy is part of the work. The happiness and joy is not a destination. This highway will never be built, right? It will never be finished, correct. It's always going to be being built, but it'll never be finished, correct? And happiness and joy is the same way. There's no final destination of happiness. There's no place that says, welcome to Joyville. Okay? It's the way we apply the bricks is the Joyville. That's you living in your happiness and bliss. Okay. So a lot of things that we do that, okay, so from day one we were talking about how do we just stop and ask ourselves, what is it that I want to do? That little voice. Sometimes you hear it, sometimes you don't. But if you keep asking, you hear it. And we're on day 17, we're hearing things. We're hearing things. We're seeing an intention. We're seeing a goal. We're seeing a focus. Okay? And then that's the highway that will be built for the rest of your life. It's just the intentions of your focus will bring the happiness and joy. Because when you're working and things get difficult, exterior forces, the weather, let down with people, expectations with people, okay, then you're like, okay, I'm back on my highway. You're working on it. So if you're constantly working, then you really are having progress of what you're doing, right? And that's the practice makes perfect. There's nobody that's on top of their game that has just started it. There's prodigies. That's a whole nother subject. But they're doing their God-given talent, I bet you. Okay. So at the same time, you have to work and work and work and work and work to get good at something. So let's talk about how do you work at happiness and joy. If you're always going to be working, you can't escape that. So you might as well go for your dreams and your goals. Okay, now hold on here, right? This can't work for everybody. It's just an analogy. But when you say that you want to do something, you go and do it. You'll learn that if you stay where you're at and don't do it, you're going to still be working and wishing and doing the same thing over and over. Most of our lives are out of circumstances. You were born where you were born. You went to the schools, so you made those friends. Then you went out and got jobs, and then, you know, because you had to in your area, and you got your friends from your work. You know, see, I mean, we're not really making choices so much as letting circumstances in our life happen. So when somebody goes and just does something. I was a surfer. I wanted to surf. I was always surfing where I grew up because of circumstances. But then when I got older, I was like in my early 20s, and an opportunity came up. A fellow friend said that he was going to move to Hawaii. Well, I dropped everything. You just do it. You go. 6 weeks later, he left. He came back to the mainland, and I'm living in a car because I was following a dream. And the same thing happened over there that would have happened here or anywhere else in life. I got hungry. I got cold. I got too hot. You see, so all the discomforts in life are going to always be there. I had to get driver's licenses. I had to pay bills. Okay, so no matter where you go, but none of those things were a burden because I was getting to surf. And it's not hard to imagine, a person surfing, doing that their whole life, and then getting to surf and live in Hawaii. I mean, it's infamous enough. So when you start living your dreams and going for it, right? Okay, you see what I'm saying? You will find out that you are going to be around a bunch of other people that are living their dreams. Not only do people in Hawaii that surf there, live there, or grew up there, the people that go over there and surf are following their dreams also, and so you have like minds building highways together. Now, and that doesn't mean that all surfers are the same. By no means. There's no category of us all people being the same. But what happens is you're going to find a lot of people that you enjoy doing your thing and they enjoy doing their thing, and there's a lot of happiness and bliss there. Okay? You're not living a rat race. You're doing your thing. So now, does that mean you're going to get to make a living off of surfing? Well, that's not always what it's about. Sometimes you make surfing your living. It becomes your life instead of that's how your life is going to be made. But then you find other careers throughout it. All my water skills allowed me to have all kinds of boat jobs and scuba diving jobs, and well, the list goes on this type of stuff. But everything will then mesh, and when you start living your dream, everything will work itself out. Will you be happy and joyful doing all that kind of stuff? Well, see, that's the point. Well, it starts here. Could you be happy living in a car for 3 or 4 nights if you got to live in your dream? So that's the work. You're going to constantly have snags and snarls and things that will come up along your way. But if you're living your dream, what kind of regrets you got? You can always go back. You'll find out that nothing changed there. Just like you'll find out that if you continue doing what you're doing for the next 40 years, or whatever the case is, nothing will change. So think about if you have that ability and freedom to really just go for a dream, you'll find out you won't regret. So today's day 17. We'll talk about this for a couple days. I pray for you, and I pray for America. Amen.